Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good night. I hope you guys are having a lovely night. I want to say special welcome to all the men out here, and also the fathers and soon to be fathers. We have something special for you guys tonight. But before that, I just want you guys to know that we're glad to have you here. Another night, another change, another difference in our lives. Guess what? I have something really special for us today. We're going to talk about fatherhood today. Yes! Oh, the prosper. And I hope you guys are having a lovely Saturday. So now, tonight we have a special guest. Tonight's guest is an author and creative thinker who enjoys working out and being with his family, his wife, and five wonderful children. Children in our life, the miracles God gave us. Children motivates him to be better each day. Being an 18-year educator, an assistant principal, and an athletical director qualifies him to raise up great young men and women who would become great pillars of society. His book entitled Daddy's Moment, Volume 1, is the first in its series, and tonight he's here to give us positive insight in Daddy's world. Yes, we're going to learn how to be father tonight. Yes! So tonight we have Dr. Kelvin Smith. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a blessing just to be able to share any type of little knowledge I can give about my book and about myself and my life.
Yes, yes. So how is your day going so far?
Oh, everything's going good.
You know,
Had a great day with the kids. And Saturdays is like family day. We try to get out and about when we can safely, because over
mhm,
here we still in the pandemic, so we follow the guidelines very well.
yeah. You know, that is world. An issue that been causing a lot of confusion because it's both absent and failure and stuff like that. And we know say enough of we man not get enough credit for being a good father. And no, we not get the credit. Mother's Day I see big gift and Father's Day I see as much. But tonight we're going to look past these disadvantages, these stereotypes, and talk about how to be a real father, the real man way to be the great father in your child's life. So, tell me a little bit about your background.
Uh, Background with me is real simple. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, over here in the U.S. And
Mm-hmm.
my mother sent me down to Mississippi. It was a little small town called Yazoo City, Mississippi. Uh, I was raised by my grandmother and aunt, and I thank my mother all the time because she made a very tough decision for someone willing to let their child be raised by their mother and their sister, basically. I spent my whole entire existence in Mississippi from 6 months old till I was 18 before I graduated from high school. I was blessed to get a football scholarship and go play at Alabama A&M. Played 4 years of college football. I could have went famous, went to the league, but I'm one of those few unique individuals. I have my blood cells are 3 sizes smaller than a normal person. So my last year in college football, I was basically passing out a lot, and the doctor basically broke it down to me. He said, you either can make an attempt and go to the league and possibly have a good career, but it's gonna be short term because you never know how long you may last, or you can go ahead and have a regular life and have a meaningful life and go as long as you want to go, as long as your health is good. So I chose to step away and not go try for the NFL, and I decided to go ahead and have a regular life. I graduated from college and when I with a telecommunications degree, and when I first started out, I was trying to be in the broadcasting, and I was hired to work at a news station, but in 2001 they had a hiring freeze, and I couldn't sit around and wait because fresh out of college, those are rough years. They say a degree's supposed to make you money, but when you first out of college, it's hard to make money because everybody wants you to have experience, and that's something that I did not have. So I took a year and worked at a alternative high school, and I was a PE teacher for the whole year. My principal was so amazed with the skill set I had, just interacting with kids, and how I was able to make them want to do better for themselves and go back to their regular high school. Because the alternative school is for when you really do something totally wrong in your original school, and they send you there as a punishment. So I'm getting all the worst kids there were. Um, I did everything possible to help those youngsters out, and my principal loved the fact that they really fed off my energy. And keep in mind, I have a aunt that's a retired principal, aunts that's retired teachers, and I have family members that's right now in the education field as well. So I was almost like trying to run away from being in the education field, but I still am going back. I went back and got my alternatives certificate in education at Miles College, which is in Alabama as well. Became an English teacher and a coach. I did that for at least 16 years. And I did 12 years in Alabama teaching and coaching. I was one of few men that taught English and coach or was a head coach. There's not that many English teachers that can say they did that. And I did that both in Alabama and Georgia. Towards the tail end of my career, I went ahead and got my master's and turned around and got my doctorate and started becoming a administrator. So right now I'm an assistant principal at Manchester High School, and I'm loving that the new level that I take is one thing to be a coach and a teacher. You impact the lives that come to your classroom, but as an administrator, you impact the lives that come into the entire school, and that's what I wanted to do, to try to do my best in reaching out. And like I say, as right now, I'm the assistant principal athletic director at my high school, and I take on that blessing of getting up every day just to make sure that I reach and teach somebody life to help them out for their future.
Yes, so it seems like you've been had a lot of crossways to you being here right now. And the thing about your story is the fact that you're talking about tonight. You're talking about being a father, but you didn't mention about the father in the picture of your past. How was it like growing up without a father?
Um, I can say it was challenging, and the reason why I say that, for many individuals, having a father, that's a figure in everybody's life that's supposed to teach you valuable lessons. And me not, I knew of mine. I know his name. I met him once or twice when I was growing up, but at a certain point of life, he just really was absent. He wasn't around. Um, that played a big major part on me, and that kind of helped shape me to the person I am now with my kids and how I am as a person. And the one thing that my grandmother always told me, she stressed to me, don't never worry about the fact that he wasn't in your life. He has to worry about that you wasn't in his, because I have made so many accomplishments when I was in college, when I was in high school. He missed out on it. I was one of those individuals that when I was in high school, I received a lot of accolades being an athlete and also just being a regular student. I was one of those kids that I did multiple things. I was in the drama club, acting in plays. I played in the band. I played football. I was artistic. I could draw. So I was always in the newspaper for something. When I went to college, I was the first in my family to say I was on a college video game. I was first person acknowledged being in the news that possibly could go to the league. So all those things he missed out on, and that's how I look at it. That, I don't feel like that I can never dwell on it, because at some point in time in your life you have to acknowledge, okay, they're not there, but what do you do from that point on? And I didn't want that hurt and those feelings to impact me when it's time for me to raise my kids, because the it was a clean slate. I just did everything that he didn't do. He wasn't in my life, but I make sure I'm in my kids' lives. So I try to also tell a lot of people, sometimes you can't carry that burden because that person wasn't in your life, because it's gonna hurt you in the long run.
Looking at it still, this story remind me of a picture that I've always seen online. It was picture that two, it was a twin. they were raised by a father that he was drinking a lot in the bar and he always wasted his money. And one became successful and one became just like his father. And the story of it was the both of them said they saw their father and they learned from their father. And one of them learned what not to be, while the other one learned the lesson of what to be. And the thing is, the lesson you've learned from your father is what's not to be.
Right.
So he had shown you that he was absent, but you've learned that you're not supposed to be absent and the effect it has on the child because you've grown up and know the burden that he actually carries and you've learned that and you plan to you learn say you know if you do that to your pitney. I don't know if you understand. I went all for on you, but
Hey, it's
yeah.
no worries.
And the funny thing is you turn out to be a package of talent because artistic, you can rugby because we don't call it football out here, you know. We call it American football because soccer what you call we call it football out here. So
Right.
not to get so you were an American footballer.
Right.
So he miss out on the talented package when bringing at this world.
And that's how I felt like. I felt like everything I did, he missed out on.
Hmm.
And that's something that my kids look up to because they can go and Google dad and see things that dad did, or I can go pull out old pictures and let them see what all their dad did. So they're proud of me, but I also let them know things that I did, you don't have to imitate. You can do better than me. And
Hmm.
that's something that, I took away from him not being around. He can never tell me be better than him. I just chose to be better than him because I know how I felt growing up. I'm a only kid, only child. So I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and most of my cousins end up being so close to me, like a brother and sister, because like by me being raised by my grandmother and aunt, I was around a lot of my cousins growing up. So with me being an only child, me not having a father, those things could have played a big part in my life and steered me in a negative direction, but I chose to carry it better. And then I had some positive women in my life who just kept echoing, pushing, don't let something like that negatively influence you. You make sure that carries you and put a fire in your system to make you be better than ever was to you. And that's why I try to do my best in being not only a great inspiration towards my kids, but great inspiration towards my students at school on a day-to-day basis.
Whoa, whoa. Like you see, to have such a rough foundation, because I've learned about building a house. A house can never be built on on something that doesn't have a good foundation because like a breeze blow, it drop flat. You had a rough foundation, but instead of building a life on that rough foundation, you actually fix your point of view of the foundation and you fix up the foundation so you can build a solid house so your children could be in. And that is a brilliant, brilliant story because no for we blame our father for not being our life and because of that, now we end up not being in our children' life because we claim say I the only thing we know. So what do you believe? What would you say to people that don't mean their children lives or be poor fathers because their father wasn't there? What would you say to them?
Well, one thing is I try to encourage them to get into their child's life, no matter what age their child is. That their child still need to have a relationship with them. That's major. And another thing would be is, you know, don't be afraid of whatever the reason was that steered you away. Don't worry about that. You can fix that. Those are fixable things. The thing that can't be fixed if you stay away for 20 plus years and that person grows up and become adult and they become successful or it has a negative impact on them, you can't fix that because no apology can really justify for you missing your child's entire life per se. I try my best to tell a lot of people that, don't let the ideal of that title scare you from doing the right thing. Anybody can make a child, but everybody cannot be a father. And I try my best to encourage them that that title is very significant, and you got to be able to stand up and hold up to that title, because there are a lot of kids that's walking around here nowadays. They don't understand how to be a dad because they ain't have a dad around 'em. They ain't have a dad as a role model to help push them, and they may not be as fortunate as me to make that decision of I'm gonna do better. Sometimes we have people that they need to see an example, and they don't have an example. How can you do better if you never seen anything? So I would try my best to encourage anybody. If you aren't in your child life like you should, please go do it, because that can make a big difference between them doing something great in the world, or them making excuses and blaming you for why they're not successful.
Yes, and that's true. And wow, you see, looking back and listening, you said something so, I don't know, I would say so brilliant, and something to really reflect on, something that should pique a lot of people interest, and something that people should actually reflect on, is that you said a lot of people can make a child, but being a father is different. You see, what I liked about that, what you said, is something that I think a lot of people view children as. A lot of people can get a trophy, but children aren't trophy, but we view children aren't like that, and we don't want the responsibility with it.
Right? Yeah, it's easy to have that image and display that image. Like, you take a picture with your child and you guys wearing the same outfit, or you saying you going out somewhere to the mall or something, to the store with your child. That looks good, but that's not all parenthood.
Hmm.
Parenthood is having days where your baby's sick and you gotta be that one to sit up all night with them. Days may be like my daughter became ill a couple of days ago while I was at work. My wife called me, and with us being under this pandemic over here, you can't
Hmm.
really just take the whole family into the emergency room or into the doctor's office. You gotta be one parent. So I left from work early to come home, get her, and take her to the doctor's office. And I sat there with her spitting up and things of that nature, because that's what I do. Um, Anybody that works with me, they know my family, and I tell anybody, family comes first. No matter what is going on, if you at work, if you're doing whatever, family always should come first, because that's the structure of your whole world. Once you have a family, everything about priorities change. Your family is now your main structure. That's the stepstone that makes everything worthwhile for you. So you got to make sure you do everything right by it. Doing by the imitation of you want to look good because you have kids. That's just false. That's a false image that's easily can get seen through as somebody just want to do it for show. And just like there's so many mothers, they're taking care of their kids, and their dad not around. Kids look at that as, I can have more faith in mom because mom was around all the time. Dad was there every now and then. My kids know at a drop of a dime, I'm coming wherever to be there for them, just like mom would.
So we're going to take a look at the comment section right now. I don't want anyone to feel left out. So I'm just letting you guys know, you can give us a shout out, we know you're here. And remember, you can ask any question, because we're all here to empower and enlighten each other. So Mr. Hunter is saying hello.
Hey, how's it going?
So Miss Littleton is saying hi, Dr. Kelvin Smith. So Elliston is asking a brilliant question. What is a good father?
That is a great question. To me, a good father is a person that's the Superman of the family. And let me explain what I mean by Superman, because if you're married, if you have a good relationship, dad should be Superman, mom should be Superwoman. Dad is gonna be that foundation to make sure that everything is taken care of. You know, like me, I try my best to carry the world on my shoulders, even though I know I don't have to, because I know at any point in time my wife has my back, and vice versa. A good father is someone that's going to be a role model for his children, to make sure his children understand. If you have girls, they understand the type of man they should be looking for when they get older and they start dating. They should know what type of guy they should deal with based off how their father treated them and how their father treated their mother. If it's a young son, he should be able to look to his dad and see how he need to carry himself, how he needs to be prepared for life in general. A good father is a father that's willing to do whatever for his family without even a second thought. And that's, to me, what I think is a good father. And I try my best to embody that on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, and I love that answer. I really love it. Well said. I don't think, I think that was well put. You believe if your father isn't around, you can't achieve. Well, you've proved that
Yeah.
stereotype wrong. Different from you, you've proved that stereotype wrong.
Yeah, because it's so many people who truly believe that their father isn't around. That may be the reason why something didn't go right in their life. You can avoid cycles like that. And I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying that there will be some obstacles, but if your father is not around, that shouldn't be the case to make a negative impact on your life. Yes, if your father not around, yes, you missed out on some things. You missed out on probably some love and support from your second parent, but that shouldn't make a big negative impact on your life. With me, I made that choice because I had some family members that constantly stayed positive in my head, constantly told me my worth, constantly told me while I was growing up, just because your dad is not around, that doesn't mean that your life wasn't anything of importance. So I would tell anybody, if their father wasn't around, that should not slow them up. But they also got to be able to take accountability of, I'm not going to let the lack of that person being in my life play a big factor in my life moving forward. Everyone may not be able to say that because it all depends on your family background. But I know with mine, and like I said, we wasn't rich. We was humbly poor. And I came out on top. And I know if I did it, I know anybody else can do it too.
Yes, well said. Because you can't blame the start, you know. Sometimes we have rough start, but the thing is, we don't control the start that we get, and we don't control the ending and when it ends. What we control is the middle chapter. And yes, we had a rough start. We didn't even control if our father was there, yes or no. But what we truly control is how we're going to let this bad start help us, and how we're going to counteract this lack. How are we going to fill this void in order to move forward to a successful life? You see, we can't blame the obstacles. We have to blame how we tackle the obstacle. We can either jump, walk around, go under, or push them down.
Right.
So, Blessed is saying good night, gentlemen. Good night, Blessed. I hope you're having a lovely night. She's saying excellent points coming from both of you. Thank you very much. I think Elston is asking us question right here. And children without a father in their life grow up to be violent. Do you agree, disagree, or and
I
why?
I disagree with that for the simple fact that a father not being in a child's life is not going to make them violent. It You have to pay attention to who is in that child's life, male or female, and
Hmm.
as long as those that parent or parents or guardians are being a positive impact, there shouldn't be no possible way that someone should be violent. Coming from
Hmm.
my family, I have several family members that their fathers weren't in their life, and that was the last thing for them to be is violent. Now it's just saying that you should know how to defend yourself growing up. That's a part of life. But just saying that you take it out on the next person. Now, if you coming from a background to where you're seeing a lot of violence, even though your father's not in your family, then that'd be different. Um, that could be a different type of cycle that something else need to be tackled to help you fix that situation. But just saying that if you coming from a family that you know is trying to show you the positive direction, no, there's no possible way that that child would turn out being violent because the father isn't around.
Well put, well put. So blessed does having a child show manliness. I was about to ask that question. I guess great minds think alike because I think there's a stereotypical view of being having a child because a lot of us have children because that gonna make we a man. People are gonna respect we. So what's your take on the situation? Because I disagree, but I want to
Well,
know your take.
having a child does not make you manly. Having a child is a true blessing, and I will hope that whoever decide to have a child together, that was a positive reason for them to do that. The way I was raised, I knew fresh out of high school, even when I was in college, I couldn't afford a child. I made sure I didn't have a child. I didn't have a child until after I got married because I felt like that was a for me to do what was best to be a good father figure for my child. I would never want that. I didn't want to bring in no child into this world, and I was not ready yet. And not taking away because we have some people that do have children early, but I knew if I can control my situation, and that's what I did. I didn't want to bring a child in, and I didn't have myself together yet. And I went at least until I was 29 before I had my first child, and that was just me. There's other people that may have had some earlier, some still having children later in life. They may wait until they're in their 30s. I have friends now, they're 35 and just had their first set of twins ever. But manliness is not based off of you having a child or not. That's the least thing about it. You having a child and you staying around a child, that shows your manliness. That shows you're a man if you showing that you are a father and you truly are being that father. That's where the manliness kicks in at.
You know what? I really agree with that too. What I look at as true manliness is actually analyzing the situation you are in and knowing if you're ready for the child or not, making the preparation. I think thinking about fatherhood before it happened and when would you think is the appropriate time and when can you afford and the lessons you plan to teach them. I think the preparation show more manliness than the result.
Right. I agree.
And I love how you put it about actually being there. Because before we have tough talk and say, when me get my youth and yeah. But as soon as them come into the world, we even fail as a father. So you're not really manly to have that child because you're just viewing the child as a trophy. A real man takes responsibility for his action.
Right. And that's
So
how most people got to look at it. Is you can either be that person that can say, well, I have a kid, or say like there are some guys they want a son so they can say they have a junior, but they're not doing everything to make sure that that junior is
mhm.
really taken care of in from their father aspect. Mom is gonna do what she gotta do, but what is dad doing to make sure that junior is following the right path? Or just saying, well, I got a kid. What are you doing to make sure that your child is truly being taken care of? That's what many people nowadays truly got to start taking more interest into, making sure that they are ready for parenthood. Parenthood is
Hmm.
totally different. It changes your whole world going into parenthood. Priorities change. It's no longer worrying about yourself. You worrying about somebody else first. Like my wife, she'll worry about our five in a heartbeat. If it's come down to clothes, taking whatever, her
Hmm.
main focus is taking care of them first. Me and her come second, and we're a distant second. And until you put in your mind that that's your mind frame, you know, they will always have that false sense of security. They'll be more worried about the trophy image of I have a kid than what really goes on in helping raise that child.
Hmm. Whoa. You know, the funny thing you mentioned about Junior, I don't know if over there the stereotype is still there, but men are so excited out here to have juniors more than even princesses because we think having a junior is more manly to say, yeah, man, you have a little son, you know, I'm a you this, you know.
Right? Yeah, we still have a good number of individuals. They walk around like that. They want to have a junior, so the
Hmm.
junior can carry on their name. Junior, if they play sports, they want juniors to do the same thing they did. And in many cases, that's more pressure on that junior because you're trying to live through your son just because he has your exact same name, and that's not the best thing to do. And that's this coming
Hmm.
from someone who used to coach, because that's one thing, male or female, I've seen parents try to live through their kids, and that doesn't do anything but hurt them moving forward because they're trying to live up to that expectation of being like you instead of you just letting them be themselves. So I was never that type of person. Like my kids know if they want to play a sport, I'm gonna be that big cheerleader, like with my wife. I'm not gonna force them to do something that I did. I don't want them to follow my path. I want them to find their own path because that's how I was growing up. I had to find my niche in the world, and once I found it, I went with it. I want them to have that same aspect. So I got out of my five kids, I have my adopted son. Everybody else is girls. I'm fine with that, and I wouldn't ask for anything different. And I love that aspect in that sense of I'm doing something great with my five to make sure that they're have their own mind frame about what they want to do in life. I'll never try to live through them or anything like that. Like I know there are some individuals they try to.
Yes, I understand. You know what, I really like what you said, the thing about the parent living their life through the child. I think that's one of the issues that we face because if parents don't accomplish, yes, you want to ensure that your child have a better life than you, but don't let them feel like the only way they can live a better life is by following exactly your way of thinking because there's different paths that can lead you to success.
Right? I agree.
So I really like that because not because you failed at something that means the child should get it right. Maybe that's we have to understand the gifts that the children have, you know. We can't live our life through them. We already made our mistake. So if we can't allow them to take up our life, we should allow them to live theirs.
I agree.
Hmm. We have to learn to copyright our life, man. So don't let we children can copy it. Make them live write them own story.
Right. And I mean that's all you want them to be. You want them to be able to look at what you did and then make a decision on how they want to carry on your legacy. Because if if you want to worry about something with your children, yeah, they can be your legacy, but you want that legacy to do something unique as well. You did something when you grew up. You want your children to grow up and do something different from you, but still they don't have your last name. They can still carry your legacy and do something great in their own direction.
I think true manliness is when you're able to take responsibility for your actions and being able to admit you're wrong and learn from your mistakes. I agree with this statement.
I
And good night, Miss Garden. I hope you're having a lovely night. But this is actually true. Taking responsibility, I think it's one of it's a difficult thing because I think we learn to blame the fire for burning us, and instead of taking the responsibility that we're in the wrong for actually touching the fire in the first place.
right? And I mean, that's being a parent. You are going to make mistakes. No one is perfect. And then for a father especially, I think that for some, the ideal of being a father, one, we're not supposed to show emotion. Two, we're not supposed to show any signs of weakness. Three, we're not expected to share how we really feel about anything. And that's when we make the biggest mistakes. When you do things like that, when you
Mhm.
aren't man enough to accept the situations as is and being able to talk it out and work it out, that's when you make some of your biggest mistakes as a parent. And for a father, and like I said, you got to be able to own up on a mistake. That's how you learn and grow. You have to have failure. If you don't fail at anything, how do you know if you've been successful at it? So just like as a parent and being a dad, you're gonna fail at something at some point in time. You'll never get everything right. But when you fail, as long as you learn from it, and then that helps you grow and become better as a father and just as a man in general, that what truly makes you you.
Mhm. Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. I totally agree. Well said. Well said indeed. What is some of the challenges you face as a father?
Uh, I would say learning how to raise a daughter. Those were some of my biggest challenges. My first daughter, that's who I wrote the book about. I was so terrified because in my mind, I really was expecting to have a son. From the old wives' tale of having grandmothers saying the way the belly looking, how the belly is sitting up, they just assuming we were gonna have a boy. When the doctor told me I was having a son, I mean having a daughter, I was petrified because the simple fact, can I do everything possible to show her the right things that she need to look up to me being her dad. Um, just going through the basics of being a father, that scared me. My first year, I think I worried almost every other day because I didn't want to get something wrong, but I knew I was going to do something wrong in some shape, form, or fashion. From figuring out how to change the first dirty diaper, figuring out how to uh, warm up a bottle correctly, things like that. So, raising a daughter was the biggest challenge for me being a father. And I would never take nothing from it because I tell anybody that also helped me become better because I understood how to become a little softer raising my little girl to be a princess and who's going to be a queen one day. And that's how I'm doing all my children. Um, Prince or princess, and they're gonna be a king and queens one day. I want them to understand the importance of that. So I definitely tried my best to learn from any failure I had to make sure that they do better moving forward in life.
Just to backtrack about what you were saying about Adonika's comment about being a real father and taking responsibility for your action. You know what I liked about what you said about us standing up and not showing any weakness and everything. They always want us to create the Superman image. But the
Right,
funny thing about Superman, he also had kryptonite, which was his weakness. So we can be Superman, because we still have weakness.
right,
So
and
yes.
that's what a lot of guys got to understand. No matter what type of superhero you are, you will have a weakness. You have to you will be down. And like I had friends always tell me, who take care of Superman when Superman is down? And
That's true.
I had to think about that, and that's why I say my wife, she is like Superwoman or Wonder Woman or whatever superhero female strong you want to think of. Anytime I've been down, tired, sick, or whatever, she always took the slack, and we did that vice versa. So, yeah, a man, a father can be had a Superman image, but also be mindful you gonna have to show a softer side. You gonna have to show when you're down or tired. So there's a realistic to that, and your
Mhm.
child needs to see that as well. They need to understand. Daddy do get tired. even though daddy may still get up and go play with you, daddy got to be able to admit to himself that daddy sometimes gonna have to show that softer side at times and not worry about the stereotypes that goes along with it.
Mhm. So blessed saying, too many men believe that having sons makes them strong, while getting a daughter makes them weak. Wink. Y'all know what I mean.
Well, I can honestly say I don't ever try to think like that. If you see the picture behind me, I'm sorry, picture behind me, I have 4 daughters, so there's nothing weak about that. And the one thing
Hmm.
about it is, I want to make sure that I'm strong for them, so they can see what a strong man looks like. So when they start dating way down the road in life, they know the type of man they need to be looking for. They don't need like they see me open doors for mom. They see me open doors for people, like other women just to be nice. The chivalry is almost dead, but I still carry it no matter what. I still open doors. I still say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes or no, sir. They need to see that that's something they need to look forward to
Hmm.
in any man they look at. If he's not anything close to the ideal how my dad treated my mom, I don't need to mess with him. So anybody that believes that having a daughter makes them weak, no, that's just something they're gonna have to question within themselves, and I hope they fix. Uh, the sex of your child should not determine if you're strong or weak. You having
Hmm.
a child is your strength, no matter what.
Hmm. And men in Jamaica tease each other for getting a woman pregnant 4 or 5 times, only to see all of them and not only one boy. And not one boy. And the funny thing about it, I've heard about a story and I've seen it happen where the people them saying back week, him had back week, and he had the 29 back.
Well, I've known several people over here that have tried multiple times and having a boy, and they had a bunch of girls, and they finally said, "Forget it, I don't want to no more." Because you get to like 3 or 4, and you got all girls, I'll just say go and stop. Because you keep going, it's something else crazy may happen. Never know. They may have twins or triplets. I mean, just that's I think that's anywhere, not just Jamaica. I've seen guys that crack jokes about that too, and I've seen guys that actually try. And then, but I've seen guys that um, have 3 sons and they want a daughter, and they try
Mhm,
again to have a daughter, and they just had a lot of sons. So it's vice versa. It all depends. But that is funny though.
mhm. And then right at Adanika making responding to a comment that she sent earlier. So Adanika is saying, what do you believe are the things that are absolutely necessary for an individual to have before they decide to have a child? And do we, all right, so one question at a time. So we're going to tackle the first half. What do you believe are the things that are absolutely necessary for an individual to have before they decide to have a child?
Uh, First things first, you got to have some type of structure in your life, and what I mean by structure is you need to have a career going. You need to be able to say you can maintain having a family, because you could have a job and be living at home with your parents. You're not ready to start a family. And everybody's not blessed like that, but just with me, I grew up knowing I need to be a certain spot in my life. I need to have a career going. I need to be able to maintain my own place. I need to have something in my life with some consistency, knowing that this is what I'm gonna be doing for the next 10 years at least. Well, jumping from job to job and you not knowing, taking care of your needs, bills, and things of that nature, you're not ready yet. Um, and you, and being finding a compatible person is a very crucial thing as well.
Yes.
You don't need to
Yes.
be trying to make a family with someone that off a whim, just because you met them in the club one night or you just met them on social media and they look good. Everything that looks good is not good for you. So you need
Mhm.
to make sure you know what you're dealing with, because again, when you have a child with this person, that's for life. And I've known people, they proudly pay child support and they don't be around their child life. And I'm just like, that money doesn't replace the father. So you gotta be ready to have some structure in your life to be prepared for bringing in another life into this world.
hmm And you know what? I agree with you about something about saying not everything is beautiful that is right for you and good. The thing is, some of the most beautiful flowers are the most poisonous. No?
Right?
So I do actually believe you. And the second part of the question: do you believe that without these things, the child will be damaged?
I don't think the child would be damaged, but I think you will shortchange that child's life, because I truly believe a child should have a good childhood. If you're struggling to make ends meet, if you're struggling to have some consistency in your life to where that child can feel that love from you, you're gonna make that child life a little difficult to where they can enjoy their childhood. I don't think it'll destroy it, but I think it'll make it a little bit more unique and a little bit more of a challenge for them to overcome.
Mhm. I believe a good father is a real man and a man who is able to love and raise his offspring in a godly way. I agree with that.
I truly do too.
Yes, I agree. So somebody's asking a crucial question. What's your happiest daddy moment? I think it's happiest.
Uh, my happiest daddy moment was being able to be at the hospital when my daughter was born. Based off my first book, my first daughter, I was able to be there when she was born. That was my happiest daddy moment, because again, that was my first child. And like, even in the book, I explained, my school I was coaching and teaching at was about 45 minutes away from the hospital. And when I found out that my baby was getting ready to be born, it took me
Hmm
only 25 minutes to get there. I'm not gonna say how fast I was going, but trust and believe. Uh, I made a 45-minute trip into 25 minutes, and I didn't get a ticket or anything, but I made it there in time to see my baby born. So that was
hmm
my happiest moment.
hmm Yeah, ensure say you go on the race track.
Right. I think I drove some of the paint off as fast as I was flying that day, but
So is that a picture of your family in the background? I love it.
yes, that's all five of my children. So that's starting from the tallest, Nevaeh. Middle is Caden. Caden is the one that the first book is about.
Hmm
Antoine is to the far left of me, and then we have twin daughters,
Wow.
Kinsley, Courtney. So yeah, like I say, be careful. You trying to go out and make sons, or you want to make another daughter. You made it with twins. Twins running my wife's family. Well, they're the ninth set of twins in my wife's side of the family. They're my first set
Wow.
of twins in my side. So my side was ecstatic. But again, twins is a unique thing, no matter what.
Mhm. Well, her first. She,
I have not went through that yet, since they're still young. My wife is prepping me for that still. She's she's getting me ready. She's getting me ready, because in the mindset of, if she's not at home with me and one of my daughters go through that, she already taught me through it to where I don't panic. So I'm prepared for it to a certain degree, but I
Mhm.
know I may freak out a little bit, but I won't show it to my daughter when it happens.
Yeah, it kind of still a gonna be how it is still.
Yeah, it's still gonna throw you off. So hey,
So, what's one thing you want your children to emulate?
I would want them to emulate my drive. I tell everybody that the greatest thing about me is my drive. When I want
Mhm.
to do something, or when I'm focused on doing something, I don't let any obstacles, I don't let any critics slow me up from that. I tell everybody, you're your worst critic. When you stop listening to yourself criticizing about a situation, the outside critics would not play a factor in that. So I want them to have my drive, because I don't. If somebody tells them no, let that no be that motivation to keep going until they get that yes.
Hmm. I really like that Superman analogy. Well, I love the way Kelvin said way down the road. I love how you said your daughters will be dating way down the road.
I can't do nothing but be honest.
Wow. Way down the road, indeed. I think one of the scariest thing for any parent is the dating world because they know how difficult it can be.
Right. And with me being an educator and I see this generation and how they date and how they go about talking to people,
Hmm.
I gotta make sure my daughters are well prepared. So if I'm gonna be that father that I'm gonna give the handbook and understanding this is what he's gonna say, this is what he really means, I'm gonna be that one that's gonna tell him that.
Yeah, analyze every word when say every foot,
Yeah,
every toe when put forward, you know.
I'm gonna teach them everything they gonna try to run game on you. You gonna be well prepared for it because when they try, be like, oh, dad already told me about that line. Nope,
Yeah,
next.
man. If you sip a cup too hard, you know what I mean.
Right,
All that glitters is not gold. That's true. It can be a diamond as well. A diamond glitters.
right.
I'm a woman, but I believe that being a father is a learning experience because there are things that happen some days that are out of this world. But being ready with the principal foundation,
I
I
fully
agree.
I fully agree with that, and I learn something new every day. There's nothing about fatherhood that's um easy. And there's
Mhm.
nothing about parenthood that's easy, but the ideal of that you still learn something new every day. You still go through new things that will help you become better as a father because like with daughters, there are still things I'm gonna have to go through. With four girls, I've already joked with my wife. That's four weddings, four proms, four sweet 16s, like you said, four periods. This is all new things I'm going through with my son. Real simple. I can take him go get a haircut. We can have a good father son conversation. I can give him the birds and bees talk. That's a little easy. But going
Mhm.
through prom dates, dresses, things of that nature, I'm learning and I got to get ready for it.
Food. So she's adding to the foundation, the principal foundation that she believes is needed: food, shelter, clothing, love, and patience.
Right.
And I think the two last one is very key
The
because they
two,
might test your patience.
the two last one would be my first two to start off with. Love and patience.
Mhm.
You got to have because if you first time fathers, I'm telling you, you waking up 2 o'clock in the morning and you may have worked all day. Baby don't want to hear that 2 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. Baby may want to be home.
Wah,
Right.
wah. Oh my
So
gosh.
love and patience kicks in. So that should be the first two, then food, shelter, and clothing. But I'm telling you, love and
I
patience,
think I
definitely the
think
first two things.
I can't even imagine myself going through that. You know, running a little simulation in my head and me waking up crying in tears because you are bald, but I know when you're happy you are asleep. That's rough. It's going to be rough.
Right. But you still will make it no matter what.
I want twins.
You say that
Whoa,
now.
that's interesting. That is very interesting.
You say that now, but hey, you can babysit mine if you ever come over here now. See, the thing is, I having twins is a blessing. But you have to always remember it's two of everything, and that's even with with their attitudes. You're gonna have two different attitudes at two different times a day. One may be happy and want to hug you. The other one may want to look at you and walk off. And see, both of ours, they're going through training. They're learning how to train going to the bathroom. So they're like gunslingers. They'll snatch off their pamper and take off running before you can get
Mhm.
them to the potty. So it's unique, but that's why I say with the twins I wouldn't change nothing about what I'm going through with them right now either.
Blessed and highly favored. You're very brave. Brave indeed, but it would be a good blessing. A good blessing. I don't know why I should love to be twins, but there is nothing wrong to have
Right.
a dream. It's not easy, but it's possible. Yes, it's not easy to have twins, but it's possible. It is
Right.
possible. Everything is possible. Are you a fun father?
I try to be because the way I look at life, I'd rather have something to laugh at every day than walk around be mad and stressed all the time.
Mhm.
That's just me. I'm very nonchalant and very funny going because I try to make my wife laugh on a day-to-day basis, no matter what. Because with 5 kids, you got to have something to laugh about because
It's not a easy road.
if all of them get on each other nerves, they're gonna get on mom and daddy nerves. So we gotta find ways to make you gotta find ways to make things enjoyable about life every day.
4 weddings, 4 proms, 4 60.
Hey, that's the way I have to look at it.
I was looking at it. It's something that you really think about because to really have 4 daughters as a father, it's not easy because it's to I don't know how to even put it in words because I've thought about it a lot, and because it's really a different approach to the son, and you have more experience being a son or being a male than a female,
Right.
so you feel like you have more to offer to the son than the daughter. So it's actually you have to learn about being a female.
More or less, I'm learning how to be a strong figure in a female's life because
Mhm,
everything, like my daughters, they can relate something to my wife before they can relate it to me. And I get that. So they may go tell my wife something that they know may be too embarrassed to tell me. Me being their
mhm,
dad, I'm trying to make sure they feel just as comfortable telling me. I may be too afraid to hear what they got to say, but I gotta be ready
mhm,
to hear it because it's gonna be one day that I may have to go to the pharmacy and buy something for them for that time or whatever. And I mean I have to be ready to do that. So
well said, well
that's
said,
just me.
well said. And I think you see one thing I always say, in order to be really effective as a parent, you have to develop a friendship with your child.
Right.
And that is the thing. And the thing is, male is all are afraid of certain things. And to have I think that's why we feel like having a son is more manly. It's not about being more manly. I think having a daughter is more scary to a man.
Right. And it truthfully it is to a certain degree because you you don't want no one to hurt your daughter.
Hmm.
And that's what a lot of guys they get heartbroken about because if they were the type of guys they probably did something wrong to somebody's uh daughter, sister, whatever, and then they turn around and have a daughter. Now all the flashbacks comes in, they're like, oh wow, this could be karma. But if you doing right and you living right, and then plus if you educating your daughters well, you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. Is the only worry you have is just making sure you're doing everything possible for them to be learning from you as they grow and become older.
Hmm. Oh Lord, more than a more than a handful. That's it's a lot. Do you have a conversation with your children?
I try to have one daily with them in some shape, form, or fashion. Nothing out the way because they're not old enough for all those deep conversations yet.
Oh yeah, that's true. You have to know the right age to
But
have these conversations.
we have good conversations every day because I want them to understand one that I love them every day. Me and my wife make sure they understand that daily, but make sure they also understand what's going on in the world and what our expectations of them are as well. So they hear this every day, so that they know how moving forward in life what we expect for them to be.
Hmm. I need this. Yes, man. Yeah,
Please,
man.
any and everybody, please get the book. I'm telling you, you will get a good laugh, but you also will learn some great things from my first year being a dad, and just me not being shy to share it.
Hmm. My father never talked to me or my sister about feminine stuff, and we were, or I think it's either were or weren't friends either. Weren't friends either. If he wanted to warn us or tell us something, he told our stepmom so she could relay the message.
Nah, oh, with me and my wife, we don't even believe in trying to do that. We want them to have enough trust in hearing it from both of us. So we are trying our daily best and making sure the kids understand to know you can talk to either one of us at any point in time. But I know with like certain female things, my daughters are a little nervous. They'll go tell my wife, but my wife is also working with me, making sure they understand you don't have to always go run to her. You can tell dad too. So now, my daughter that I wrote the book about, she don't mind come telling me anything. So that's the funnier thing. She would gladly come tell me everything I need to know, even though I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna have to listen and smile, and then we go and talk about it, and then she go on by her way, and she's happy. So
Mhm,
I understand that, but I would never want to be that type of dad. I definitely want mine to have enough trust and faith to come share anything with me, and if I gotta tell them something, I will.
mhm. Yeah, and it might make you uncomfortable at first, but
Right.
we have to still provide, even though we feel uncomfortable, we still have to provide that comfort for them.
I agree.
I want a daughter first. Interesting. Elliston Davis. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, hey, to each his own. I was just happy just to have a healthy child. That's all, and that's what I asked for. That's what I got. Just came out to be a girl, so I went with it.
Mhm. How old is your first child?
My first child that I wrote the book about, she's 6, getting ready to go 7.
Whoa, I thought I was actually thinking they were older though. I was
Uh,
here thinking they are
uh,
like 18 or 21 thereabouts.
Well, see, I've been remarried, so my current wife that I'm with, she
Uh,
had 2 kids, so I adopted them. And like we never use the word stepchild, and we don't say step family because I feel like if you use the word step, that means someone can feelings can get stepped on or stepped over. So we'll say bonus, or we'll just say our child, our children. My oldest is my son; he's 10. Um, that's my oldest bonus child. My second oldest bonus child, that's Nevaeh. She's 8. And then like my child from my first marriage is Kaden. She's 6, and then we have the twins together. They're both 1. And that's why a lot of people were kind of amazed that I share so much about Kaden. And then I also shared different things about when me and my wife got together and we kind of blended our family together. So that's when I told everybody I was going to go ahead and write a series in the second volume. Daddy's Moment is going to be about the big three, Nevaeh, Kaden, and Antoine, and how we blended that family together in all the trials and tribulations. Because being a bonus dad is unique too, because I'm coming into their life and they never had a father figure at all. So I came into their life and I'm their father now. So they got to get me at a young age, but I'm also giving them the same love that Kaden naturally got from being her biological dad, me being their bonus dad. I'm giving them the same love. So I documented all that, and I said I'm gonna share that as well. And then like the last volume is gonna be about the twins and their first 2 years on this earth. And trust me, that's just as funny seeing some of the things I had to go through learning about how to take care of twins.
I want to ask you a question. You said you had them at a earlier age. Would you say they would be less receptive if, when you were blending the family, they were like 16 up? Would that be more difficult?
It would have been a challenge. It would have been a challenge, but I think what they will look at, because you have some that's like that floating around, to where uh,
Mhm.
you have somebody come into their life when they're teenagers. The challenge would be is earning their trust and earning their respect. and like not coming in trying to bark some rules and demands and tell them, this is my family, this is my house. You come in trying to get that respect. It works out greater that way because with my wife, she has my daughter from my previous marriage. She's in love with her to the point to where she'll call her mom too. And that was just the fact that really melted both our hearts, that she even considers my wife like her mom, even though that's not her biological mom. And she treated her like her mom and everything else. Same way my bonus children, I'm dad, and that's all they know. So moving forward, they know they have a biological dad, but their real father is me, and I want them to have that image of, this is my dad. He did this. He did that. This is the image I gave them, so they know what to look for and how to carry themselves moving later on in life.
Mhm. Go buy this book, learn some. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Go and get your copy right now. And guess what? Tonight we have a chance to give you guys a free coffee if you were paying attention. If you can get the answer right, because you know, it's not even only about being a father, but being a parent on a whole. It's a rough job, but it really has a lot of perks though.
Right?
And you've grown a lot as an individual in this world.
Yeah. And I tell anybody, my children really made me a better person, and I'll never take that away from them in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Mhm. Yes, and thank you. Wow. I'm saying I'm amazed of what I've learned. Me write down things, me take notes because God know what me learn today. Me I imply it in my life because when me junior or my princess come in my life, I want to know so me don't make no mistake. Well, me I gonna make mistake, but I can be a great father. And when my niece and nephew are both, or even if I get twins, because we can never know what happens. But I can be a good uncle as well,
Right?
because I'm the youngest, so I'm going to be an uncle before even being a father.
And
Yeah, but I
that's
really,
learning how to be a father just from being a good uncle. So hey,
yeah, that's true.
that's a great thing in itself.
I love that blended the families can work too. Yes, it can. Because I think a lot of men afraid to even take up a woman who already have a child. I think that's something that people are afraid of. Or if a man has a child already, them always I say, well, me want to have him first.
Right.
But sometimes we have to remember love have to be the foundation of things. And when you love someone, you look past these stuff, and you've learned.
I agree. If you gonna love someone, even if they have a child, you gotta love them and that child equally and the same. Nothing can be
Mhm.
different.
Yes, uncle. Yes, it has a nice ring with it. It has a nice ring to it. And one day you're going to be an auntie, Auntie Latavia, or Auntie Pinky. It could be. I'm saying, it's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing, and I'm really happy to have you here. I've learned a lot, and being 18 at a young age, I learn enough cause I learn how to prepare.
I understand. I mean, that's all about how life gotta go. As long
Mhm.
as you're learning is what's gonna make you better moving forward in life.
Yes. So I want you guys to get ready because we're having that giveaway right now. We want to learn to be good fathers, good parents to our future children or our current children. So just let us know that you're ready. I'm giving you 10 seconds to get your fingers ready. Bust your little stretch, crick your finger so you don't have too much tension in there. I run go get a quick drink of water and come because you don't want too nervous. Yeah, but I'm saying I really love your story. And you know, you didn't have that father there, but you've ensured that you're that figure.
Right.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So to all the fathers out there and the fathers that are listening, or the people who just made a child and leave, don't let your past affect how you treat your children. You're giving that you want to ensure you give them the right path for their future.
I agree.
Yeah, man, come on. We are gonna be good fathers. We are gonna be good fathers. Come, we're gonna pledge right now. We're going to be great fathers. I'm going to be one of those cool aunts that you can call by their first name. So ready. So you can go ahead and ask the question of the night.
All right. So the easiest question I can think of, if you based off anything that you learned from me today, what's the superhero analogy I chose to describe myself?
Hmm. Yes, we are indeed. So to win that giveaway, you wanted to ask them the question again?
I said, what's the superhero analogy I use to describe myself?
Hmm. So Elliston is saying Superman.
Yes, that's the correct answer.
Yeah, man.
So I'm gonna make sure that I give you a copy of the book.
Yes. So Ellis, Elliston, you know how it works. You're going to send an email to us. You know, Latvia, just a couple seconds. Too late. I'm very sorry. Oh my god. You see the seconds them. You guys are close now. All of you guys send it at 10:42, but guess what? The second them count. The prize went to the best man. I wonder why Blessed is saying that it sounds like it's her husband. It's for daddies and soon to be daddies. Yeah, but want to say congratulations to Elliston. I hope you actually get a good read and end up being that lovely father that we all have the potential to be. So I
Most
want to say
definitely.
congratulations, congratulations, Elliston, congratulations. Thank you for making me a great father.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So remember, email us at TalkTruth Series and we'll actually get the transaction down and ensure this process runs smoothly.
Right.
So it was a wonderful talk. I've taken notes. I've taken a lot of notes, both mental. I take a lot of mental notes because you know you've said a lot, and I want to be a good father. To put it straight, I want to be a good father. It's always a dream. Always a dream. And
Yeah.
you see, I've your lessons were thoughtful, they were enlightening, they were great. Your stories, I'm not even gonna say amazing. Amazing too shallow for even say describe your story. I not even know the right word for say because you never have a father, but you ensure say you were a good father. And I want to say hats off. If me have one hat, me that take it off and say hats off, cause brilliant.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
right? You five wonderful children, and me know say the whole of them love you. The whole of them love you. Even though they say, Daddy, me don't like you. Man, look, you sound like a great father.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And you did a wonderful job. You never had it easy because no one never did forget a blueprint of what a father is. But you've created your blueprint and you're working on it. And the thing is, what you said that really inspired me and something that I really take note. You're not going to be perfect. And the thing is, every day is a learning process. So you're basically saying every day you can be 1% better as a father. And I love that.
Right.
The way you put it, I'm not going to tell a lie. The words can't explain. My vocabulary too limited to tell how powerful that statement was and the whole thing. And the Superman analogy with the kryptonite thing, bad I road.
Thank you.
So let's saying congratulations to the winner. Dr. Kevin, you were awesome tonight. He was indeed very enlightened. Me feel excited to be a father. Me still not rush it though, but I'm still excited. When the time comes, I said, is there something you want to tell us? Thanks so much for this conversation. It's as if you both have known each other for a while. When two great people meet each other, I think some people when you talk to them, me not gonna tell you lie. Even talking to him, me not know him for my whole life, but me feel like you're situating used to high school kids and think him give off this level of warmth and comfort. You feel comfortable to talk to him.
I appreciate that.
I don't
I
know the
truly do.
names of your children, but they have a wonderful dad.
I appreciate that.
Based on Kelvin's responses, I could tell he's an excellent father. Me think of me one good I realize this man. Tell us say it obviously you're good. You're a good father. Continue to be a great father.
Thank
Continue. Big up yourself, Kelvin.
Thank you.
I enjoyed tonight's live. Thank you, Kelvin. Many blessings to you and your beautiful family. Yes. Me not gonna tell you lie. Me learn a lot. God know you. Me have to tell you the truth. Me can't even count too much lesson me learn tonight.
I appreciate it.
Bit a secret between you and me. You kind of help me be a good. You kind of give me an idea what But I'm not telling you, I want to even shout out to my father, Frank Davis. In do a good job, In there and show me some lesson. You teach me a lot too. I'm a big brother too. In teach me some stuff too.
I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, as long as somebody got something positive from anything I talked about dealing with my family, my book, hey, that's a blessing in itself.
Hmm. We need a part. Yeah, man, we need a part two of this story, man.
Part 2 should be coming out. I want to say in January 2021. That's the goal I'm shooting for.
Hmm.
And part 3 will come out probably later towards the end of that year, 2021. So I'm trust me, I'm working on
We look forward to it. We look forward to it, man. God know. Me excited.
it. Thank you.
I pray the Lord will bless your efforts and your home and your family and all that concerns you. Amen.
Yes, amen to that.
No lack. Can't wait to read. You bless me tonight. You bless me with some knowledge tonight.
I appreciate that.
And thank you very much for being here. Thank me know say enough people are blessed.
Thank
No. And continue blessing. And I know you teach high school, so they're all, even though they're not your immediate children, you're still foster. Me know say you foster them for a bright future.
right. You have to.
So continue the good work, Continue the good work.
Thank you.
And thank you for spending sparing an hour and a half of your time to be here and enlighten us and share some of your knowledge with us tonight. Me not gonna tell you, me I look forward to being a father because you teach me some things.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mhm. Thank you very much. And we're looking out forward to part one and part two. But just to give us a brief of where we can find you.
You can go to Facebook and find my fan page. It's Daddy's Moments, and you'll see like a cartoon image of me and my 5 kids. You can go to uh, just type in Kelvin Smith, and you'll see a picture of them. That's another way. You can go to Twitter and type in Daddy's Moments, and you'll see the same thing with my kids. Anything that's dealing with me on social media, you're gonna see a
Mhm,
picture of my kids no matter what.
mhm. Yes. So thank you very much for spending your time, and I'm blessed.
Thank
I
you, sir.
am so blessed.
I appreciate it.
And guys, remember we'll have his all his information in the description, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. It's always a pleasure to have a brilliant man with a word of wisdom on a Saturday night. It's always eye opening. Even me as the host, I learn.
I appreciate it.
Mhm. Have a great night and safe.
Thank you. You too.
Mhm. Yes, guys, and thank you guys for coming out. I hope you guys are have a wonderful night. So, guys, I always love to be here with you guys. Remember, Tuesdays are business talk, Thursdays are girls' night, and Saturdays are men's connection. I want you guys to have a lovely night, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. Enjoy the rest of the night. Peace and love and enough respect.